Aloha! I'm Jason Schwartz. You know me, but do you know Jerry Metcalfe? Jerry, welcome to our show.
You're the best.
Jerry is running for the South Maui residency seat for the Maui County Council. I mentioned that, and I want to mention in the first breath, whether you live on Maui, Molokai, Lanai, anywhere, you vote for all council races. So don't be confused by South Maui District. If you like Jerry Metcalfe and you live in Molokai or Kahului or Hana, you can vote for him. And he is your representative. They're all your representatives. They just have residency requirement seats because every area has issues and they want someone who lives there and understands those issues. Okay?
And I think that's a great requirement. Otherwise, we don't know what each individual representative has to know for that individual area. And
the only thing that happens is people think they only vote in their district, and we have a lot of no votes or empty votes where someone could actually get a lot of support from people that don't live in South Maui,
right,
that know you and like you. And so that's why I'm mentioning it.
I took a whirlwind over the weekend, and we went to Hana, and I was on a poster application of getting permission to get local people on the way there and back to consider putting up signs. I love Hana. I love the area out there. I love the road to go out there, but also going through Paia, up in through Haiku. All of these people, not all, a lot of beautiful citizens on this island have patronized me at the beautiful Kahului Ale House because they voted me for 4 years on 2008, 9, 10, 11, and they missed it 2012, Brad Sundin. But I was voted by the Maui Times and Maui News as the best sports bar on the island, and because of people taking the time to vote. So my name has been out there, and because of my great late grandfather, Jerome E. Metcalfe, who was president of Metcalfe Restaurants Incorporated, which we had a Rusty Harpoon and Whalers Village in Lahaina. And there's my shout out to you there, and also on Lanai and Molokai. A lot of people knew my father. He was very generous. He patronized all of the communities in his big, brand new, every year DeVille Cadillac that he had to always have a brand new one, and he earned it because he worked very hard for it. And he would go around and pick up hitchhikers and make sure they got to places, or if people need a little bit of extra money. You know, he was just very much to help you. You couldn't wait to get picked up if you were hitchhiking from Mr. Metcalfe.
Someone actually told me a story about your dad,
Yeah.
and that they knew this guy that would probably, and they didn't know he had passed away, I guess. But I heard that in the last number of years now. So he was a legend in his own time.
Yes, yes. The great stories are on the bar at happy hour. He wasn't a heavy drinker, but he liked to have the people come in and spend, and his great poo-poos and food.
He liked to have
breathe.
and
the thing is, I like to go out in the community and cruise through these communities and show that I support them. I know a lot about Paia government. I know a lot about what's going on with the airport area of Kahului. I know all about our sewer problems in Lahaina. I know all about our in Kupala, the way the roads and everything were built in a perfect direction for flow. They actually thought out a little community there. I like the new idea of our streamlining an expressway on a high road through Lahaina to get rid of the congestion. Isn't it unbelievable, the bottleneck getting in and out of Lahaina? And then we take the long road to our beautiful South Shore, South Side Riviera of Kihei, Makena, and Mahalea. I cherish it when you come over the horizon there on that turn and you see that beautiful strip. That reminds me of some beautiful Italian and or South Miami Beach Riviera type areas in the United States. We're lucky to have one. It's growing. We have to control our growth. And I just have moved around the island. I wanted to see what people wanted to talk about.
What makes you? I'm curious. You know, there are a lot of people that are advocates for things. Some have special issues, and like you say, you're just generally involved and aware of stuff. What made you decide to run this time?
I was at the Akwe, the paddleboard world championships, and my brother Scott Metcalfe, my partner at the Ale House after the sale, and throughout life, he's been a great little brother. He's two and a half years younger than me, and he's the one that's in good shape. I'm the big heavy. I'm a foot taller than him, so I just got, I'm the big one, he's the little one. He's got his quirks, I got mine. Super individual, great athlete, and everybody on the island knows Scott T. Metcalfe, or Scooter is his name. I brought the pictures up at the KCA meeting last night and everything. I love my brother. I almost get tears talking about him. That said, repeat your question so I get a little bit of idea where I'm going with this.
You and I both say, I don't like that. I want to think things change. But the decision to run for council is different than just I want to make change. So I'm wondering.
I'm at the canoe race, and the mayor's up on stage. I'm hauling canoes through and boards through. And okay, well, anyway, so I'm there, and the mayor's up on stage, and he's doing a proclamation to the Akai Foundation and everything like that. And my brother was sitting on a hill, and he points down and he says, there's a nice individual there, and that the people could basically look to for leadership. Me and my brother approached him and shook hands with him, and we took pictures with him, and he just said, you should look into this. I mean, a lot of people know you and your family. You definitely have supported the issues on the island throughout your life, and the Metcalfe Stories life on this island with my father, with the ale house and the restaurant business, etc. So I have taken that as being kind of like a challenge, and I was kind of excited as heck to be motivated to do so. I, at that time there, went and got the election papers and nomination papers, and the process started. And I was amazed at the amount of people I asked to sign in the papers. It was landslide. I think I submitted 500 names, and the nice thing about it was I only needed basically 25 signatures to get on. But the nice thing was, out of the majority of them, they were all good signatures. Where a lot of people go in and get all the signatures. They don't know when you run for stuff. They say, oh yes, I'll sign it. But they have to be registered voters in Maui County. So
you happen to hit a pocket of registered voters.
Yeah. I hit the complex here, and I went all around Kihei here, and it was just great. Everybody said, heck yeah, I think you make a good choice, and I think that you get rid of the same old, and you would give Don Koch a challenge. Respectful, great candidate, great incumbent, but the time has come for change, and what it means is that we're all sitting in the water, or they are, and I say they, as the common council that we have presently. Ellie Cochran is a wild card. That's why I kind of she emulated, and I just feel that she's what I want to go after, where I'm not afraid to talk about anything. The candidates right now are in such a position on this election, Jason, that you're about to find out that if they vote on this moratorium and initiative, they're done. If they vote against it, they're in a very tough position to be put in. I'm the one that can say, I'm completely for it. I am Shaka. I signed my petition, and I went to the meetings, and I know what's in. I testified on June 30th at 513 there. I support the Shaka movement. I don't always agree on the tactic, but that's what a guy like me is, for a voice to explain the tactic and bring it down to what the issue is. And that is, we're sick and tired, as if we build a house, that we can't, you have to have all the different tests done, like we all have to bring a business in here. And if you don't get the proper permits, they shut you down, or they put a chain through your door. If you violate the liquor law violations, your doors are locked with chains, so you can't get in. Okay, so, and here, what are we to do right now? A restraining order to cease and desist? We took it to the nicest stage, which is bringing an initiative and moratorium to just look at this. I brought an initiative last night at the KCA meeting to simply bring in private money, a little solicitation by myself, my family, the people that we know, and the university possibly, be a great program, grant program, is to a 4x4 by 18-inch slab of concrete out in someone's backyard over here by Monsanto and or over by the cane fields that are being cut and burned, and let's set up a instrument that analyzes the air and everything like that. If we can't get one, I have a plan also to solve this. We will call the companies, the 4 competing companies that have analyzers, like breathalyzers or whatever, or air analyzers that bring poisons and sort of. They spit it out like a little tape, like at the gas station when you buy gas. And I'll get the analyzation done. It should take more. I can have it probably done in about three months if we want to really go at it. I suggest Monsanto and HC sugar cane company get their analyzer out there, because they're going to have to refute. And here's what I'm going on: Maui County standards, state standards, EPA standards. Is it healthy to breathe red dust? Is it healthy to have red dust all over your house every day? Do you have to clean it? Is it healthy to put the fertilizers or whatever they put on the cane, and then of course they sprinkle it, it goes into the ground, and then we till the ground and the dust comes up? So we get hit 3 times here, because we have the cultivation, we have the growing, and we have the cutting and burning.
But it is clear those may be good and solid issues. That's not the GMO thing. The GMO thing is more like, until it's tested and we know it's safe, don't use it in open air. And let's do a temporary moratorium to evaluate that. That's what it is. It's not
exactly.
It's nothing that anyone should be afraid of.
I don't.
And that's what always gets me as I'm listening. I saw some commercials that are going to be run. No for the initiative, and Monsanto commercials. Some survey group.
Yeah.
And they talk about a small fringe group. It isn't a small fringe group that gets 8,000 signatures to put something on the bill. That's the first time.
I believe that's 8,000 that are registered that counted.
Right.
And there was 19,360. Plus, they're still filling some out if you want to, in case something else would fall through or go wrong. The reason is I am getting the master list for my electronic email blasting campaign that I'll be pushing off now that my website's all up at elect.
You can send them this interview. They can see this.
I plan on posting it if you allow me to, Jason. Sure. And I want to be very clear, and Jason is completely right. Monsanto is not with the sugar company. It just, unfortunately for everybody watching this and hearing me, I live in Kihei, where on my car every morning I have black dust from sugarcane burning, I have red dust from the tilling and getting ready to plant, but I'm also afraid to eat the people that want me to go out there and buy some papaya. If you eat that, you change the molecular value of it. Once you eat it, you change the molecular value of your intestines. And once you do that, you start the fat, you don't break down food properly, stuff like this. I've gained 24 pounds living out here in 6 years. I suffer from COPD. I go through 2 of these a week. I never in my life till I came to Maui went through these. Okay, didn't even know what these little things were. But, okay, just to keep my lungs clear and stuff like that. Yes, I have scientific proof. I have a stack of papers over medical. This becomes a medical issue for humanity in the downwind position that Kihei's in. That's why I'm fervor on this. Paella, don't have to worry unless you get downwind of those cornfields, of those cane fields being tilled over there in the burning. You've got that to deal with. I have 2 things to deal with, because Monsanto doesn't shut down anytime that I know of. It's up there, and notice they strategically put the police station right there to be able to guard that in case we invade, to take it down or whatever like that. Because my position is, if those tests that we want to have done don't come out in their favor, my position is pack your bags. So thank you.
Okay. Obviously, there's lots of conversation, and I hope we have more conversation.
Yeah.
All of us out there. What other kind of things? Because, when I have a candidate, the fact that the candidate is someone who listens and will listen and be able to change their idea or enhance their idea, to me that's a really important. Seems like
am
you're a
open,
listener.
Jason.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting.
Being in a political position with owning companies, in which I do with Metcalfe Enterprises, I look for startups, etc. I finance startups. I understand the entrepreneurial spirit. I understand business owning. I know on this island the hardest thing that there is small business. The taxes, the excise, etc. with the liquor commission, if you're in the bar restaurant business and you don't pay someone, they come and lock your door so you can't get in to make some more money to pay those. So it's very hard on small business here. On the main issue of Kihei and my positions here, we've got a boat ramp problem. We've got not enough sidewalks problem. We have a problem with disabilities and with the people in walking around, and bicycles. We need bike paths put in some different areas. Why? It'll divert them off the street. We have our mopeds running on the bike paths along the side of the road. where they should possibly be in traffic because of when you're driving, sitting at a stop sign, Jason, you ever have that old moped come by and maybe just about hit that mirror, clip that mirror before you know what, that bike spins around, that guy falls over, and he blames you after he actually did it. Why? It's happened to me. My insurance company found out it was his fault. But the thing is I sure was hurtful. I got out and I thought I did something wrong. But in reality, two witnesses seen that his handlebar had hit my thing. We're having too much close. I'd rather have him in front of my car and not worry about that. And that's a state and county ordinance issue with the police and stuff like that. But we have to kind of teach our citizens that, hey, you got to be careful out there. And these people that just come from that are tourists to our island, that walk on the sidewalks and then want to cross, do you ever notice someone, they think they're entitled to just walk in front of your car? It sounds good, but you should wave your hand or something like that as a tourist, or tell the tourist yourself what's going on. So because I don't want to hit, and I know people don't want to hit people walking across the crossway. And we live by the University of Surfboarding here by the Cove in Kihei, which is if you know both, we have three different directions of entering across the roads, and some people even with the surfboard just walk right across. I mean, a lot of it we can see a surfboard, but I've seen many different little accidents there, and I mean it just comes down to a little etiquette of the person crossing. You're not entitled. Okay, there's a 3,000 pound vehicle coming at you. I mean, if I was, then it makes people know a little bit, okay? But we do have our crosswalks, and you're to abide it as a citizen because pedestrians do have the right of the road. But by golly, I mean, I warned people when a $3,000 instrument's coming at me, myself, okay? That was made to laugh a little bit or get an opinion on, okay? It's called etiquette, and I think it's all been doing really good in Kihei with our friendship and the community that's being built here with our controlled growth, but we need a little bit more with the feasibility studies and the environmental studies that are having to all be done by the Pialani Shopping Center up there. You notice it's all taking time. Our high school that we're building, the Kihei High School, all the tests and all the stuff that had to be done, okay? That was right? Because they approved it. They passed the test. I don't see any test reports or any feasibility studies stuff that are done by Monsanto. How would they get to do that without having a feasibility study? Okay, we'll move around.
No, but don't you think that's a good question?
Yeah.
See, that's the kind of thing that I'm looking for in people in our community.
If I build a house and don't permit it properly, they come up there and seize it, wrap that rail of tape around it, and I can't enter, get in or out, and they have the right to bring in a bulldozer, or I have the right under some law that I have to knock it down and restart it over again. Okay, so why not just get the permits and see if you can actually put a house in Maui Meadows at that direction, and you're going to run so much stuff off it, okay? Of course our goal is to get everybody off the grid here, okay? Of course our goal is to have sustainable wind energy and use our sun, our free sun. Here it is, okay? It's not free sun because we have to have the instruments to draw it out and produce the energy current that we need that go across the photovoltaic cells. But bottom line is, you want free energy. It's not diesel fuel being shipped in from Arabia or North Texas or from Canada. It's geo. We live on the largest volcano that there is in the Pacific, and we don't have a tube running down. I guarantee you, go make a cake and put your finger in it. When your fingertip burns off, okay, it's hot down there. That heat can be spewed up and drawn in a current in which we can turn a turbine, which can turn like over at Miko, that can turn a electric cell. That's free. The metal, steel drilling is going to cost money, but that's cheap compared to 1 year. I think you can pay basically all that off, unless someone's going to bilk us again, as Miko's been doing with their sustainability projects and stuff like that. I don't see any sustainability at 46 cents per kilowatt hour when the mainland and in the worst position areas in Nevada, where they do have hydro, but the cost of energy is the highest there, is I believe recorded on the Frank show on CNBC was at 11 cents per kilowatt hour, and we're at 46 cents, and we have free sun and geo and wind. What's going on here? Someone has brought to the old oligarchy of the county council, to the mayor's office, even though he's very progressive on this, at getting through the bull crap, in that we were sold a bill of goods. Why aren't we producing and having us have that money to not have to pay electric bills? It would be a great place to come out and say we have free energy. Other places in the United States actually have free energy for the people, okay? Why don't we? Don't forget, Las Vegas is being run from that hydro dam, the Hoover Dam, for the last 44 years, I think, free. because of that. That was the doctrine. You bring this in, bring the infrastructure in, and we will light up all your lights in Vegas. Now, I know they never thought that a million people would move there, but the fact of the matter is that was the doctrine that was signed. And they did go through feasibility studies because of the wind blowing, wind dust storms that would be in the Nevada desert. Although they've done that we've taken care of that with the sprinkling systems that they've set up on a scientific basis to keep a small form of moisture on the top 2 inches of the soil all around Vegas, at least for a quarter mile or so out. That they don't have dust storms in Las Vegas. I want you to understand it. We have dust storms in Maui, and we're only on a 30 by 8 mile wide island. And I mean, when you have to stop your car on your way to Kalalui, because of 2 red tornadoes coming at you, with cars coming both ways, with lights blinking, you can't see anybody in dual lanes. And this happened to me on last week Friday as I was coming to do my ACU meeting of the candidates symposium video I have to put out with the 3 questions I have to ask, which I didn't want to go into that boredness. I wanted to be straight up with you, Jason. I'm not a cookie cutter, so nail some stuff. And I just want you to know that this gentleman here calling me up yesterday, I had a really good day. T-shirts came in, website went live, a lot of things. His interest in my campaign, of course, being neutral or whatever his direction or need is or want to be able to share this with the public. I came across, I was flattered, okay, and I'm flattered to give an interview here or there. But I also want you to know that he's a very, very nice man to give an interview with. He listens to you and everything like that. I've been talking for a little bit too long. I got to let the guy interview me.
No. I mean, I think that in my role, I'm not an investigative reporter looking to go in there and blow someone's deal and make a sensational story. I can do that.
Right.
But I'm here to try to find out who you are, because if I was a voter and I see names on a ballot, I want to know who that person. Now I sit and I say, oh, Jerry Metcalfe. He's that guy. He's got a lot of life. I bet I could bring to him an issue that's important to me. And I'm here, I live in Molokai, or I live in Kalalui, and he'd look into it. He'd be that. That's what I'm talking about.
And that's island-wide, Jason. That's the view that Paia, they're going to go through a building situation coming up. The population is going to adjust itself to go to that site. Okay, Kihei, we are going to become the new Riviera, the beautiful spot on the island, taking it away from Lahaina, we hope. That's a little competitiveness, okay, even though Lahaina is great, well done and run. We want to be that now, but we have to control ours so ours is set for the future with cleanliness and stuff like that. And Lahaina is the oldest town on the island with Kalalui, but you remember they have to restructure everything because the roads aren't really wanted them. They're where the public put them 30, 40 years ago, because we introduced cars and stuff to the island and everything. So it wasn't like here. Here we know everything's coming, so we have to strategically put this in place for our future and our kiki. Doing what I see in Kalalui, on all the areas of the island, and in Lanai, Molokai, I think that people can come to me with an issue. I'm going to tell them right now. As I told you a couple times, if I don't know the answer, I'm going to tell you in a way right up front. But I will expound on it. I will address it on a camera or whatever. But if I don't know, I'd like to have the time then to go, okay, done with the bull crap to the public. Let me go get the facts on this, and then I'll give you my opinion either in a letter, email, or website hit blast of what I found out. I will be an investigative reporter. Our Common Council people, their job, from what I understood the job description, is to investigate everything before they put their name or vote for it. Okay, because putting your vote for it means I just controlled 19,000 votes for Shaka possibly. I just controlled the 32,000 people that are registered to vote on this island. If I'm a Democrat, divide by half, which is roughly 17,000. I have to look at it like that. It's a great responsibility. So if you pick me, I'm going to research everything and get to the bottom line of it. I'm going to address some radical situations. The reason I say radical, when I ran the ale house, when I ran my stock brokerage firm, when I ran my different offices at my dad's food store operations, I never thought that I would have to become a researcher. But everything has a budget, everything has cost. And you have to understand, if we address the issues in that direction, that great responsibility on our representatives, let them do due diligence. And that is the word, due diligence. Due diligence to Monsanto again. They didn't do it. I want to see some. That's why I'm for that. but in a controlled manner and ethically. I don't want to go hooting and hollering and blasting these guys. Okay, although at the KCA meeting last night I did challenge, and it will be coming out on my website, I will challenge them to send any 4 representatives. We will box off a 12 by 12 room, a 12 by 12 by how many, 8 foot 10 feet, with plastic, and we're going to inject the same poisons or whatever gas that they're putting on their vegetables, corn, whatever, and to see if they can, their Roundup, to see if they want to stay in that room for, what do we want, for a 4-day trip or a 7-day trip? If they don't show up, it says something about how human friendly this stuff is. Don't laugh. I'm putting out that challenge to everybody. Okay?
Just yesterday, I saw an article on Facebook. Algonquin, Maine, has voted public and private complete ban on pesticides.
Yeah.
So it's not unreasonable, in my mind, to have legitimate closed tests. But
yeah.
To me, that's what
I'm doing that facetiously, by the way, okay? But it is an open challenge. As is an open challenge if you vote for me. You see how I am right now, Jason? Okay?
Yeah.
I have sworn to lose 10 pounds to 15 pounds by the time the primary comes, okay? I actually started talking to you last night. I've been drinking water and juices for the last like 18 hours. Of course, I got some sleep, and my girlfriend's leaving for Oregon, and I'm going to miss her for 10 days, but she says, when I come back, I want you to be darn close to being elected as an alderman, or what we call common council. Do you understand the common council of Kihei and the common council of Paia, representative of Hana? We have our what I would call our governor of this beautiful island is our mayor. Well, basically, if you convert it down to reverse psychology, I want to become like the mayor or alderman of Kihei, because I report to the Common Council as a whole of 9, but I also kind of report to the mayor, our governor, or our president of this area in the Pacific would be our governor, which would be Mr. Abercrombie. Okay, I'm going to put a shout out to everybody that understands what these men have done. I'm supporting our governor, Governor Abercrombie. I've spoken directly to him and to his campaign staff, also to the mayor, also Mr. Ng, and also to Susie Tsoi for the lieutenant governorship. And that's where I stand. Our governor, he took us from, I believe it was $3.5 billion deficit to a $184 million in the black, including the loans he had to take out to get us in a position to refinance and arbitrage ourselves to a successful position of having all these things taken care of financially. We're 184 million in the black. If you don't re-elect our governor, you're a fool, okay? Because can you do and raise and switch the economy of over $4 billion in 4 years? Mr. Ng, our representative here, 9 initiatives passed as a 24, 25-year-old representative from Kihei. I want part of that wagon. I told him last night at the KCA meeting, I want to learn to campaign like you. Say it up, put it up, and put up or shut up. 3 things. And he does. He actually does represent. I want to represent Kihei and the Maui Island, different representatives for that kind of vigor and fervor to represent the people here.
Well, I appreciate your enthusiasm. And I am also guessing that because you had different businesses, you're good at evaluating, having gotten information from a staff. So
yes.
You've had experience assigning things and evaluating them. You don't have to always physically be out.
I say inspect, respect for management. The situation is I have to look at everything because unfortunately I'm the one that signs the checks at the end of the day. In the business realm, I'm the one that okay. But I completely believe in delegation and putting a good staff of people in underneath you. I was so lucky last night at the KCA meeting, and I didn't mean it in any derogatory way, but I meant it in a positive way that if I was elected common council for Kihei, that Robin Knox and Mr. Fitzpatrick, I did a shout out that I would hire them. They're environmentalists. They're very much pro that side. Unfortunately for their campaigns, that's 1/3 of what it takes to get elected on this island. Or in most politics, there's 4 things, but on this island, around 3 of a paradigm. That sounds great. I don't know if they'd be steadfast to be to do what I want to do and represent you in a fun way, to the music industry, the movie industry, the different things to bring in more people here in PR. The reason is, and who am I to say that? Our mayor does a great job for PR. We need a new tourism director in that we need more vigor to bring these different things in. Maui and Kihei, our new Riviera of the South Shore, South Side, we're becoming that place to be. And we need someone that's user-friendly. And I'm pretty user-friendly with celebrities. I had many of the baseball players, football players. If you were involved with athletics, come to the Ale House. We specialize in sports TV, most TVs, everything like that when I had it, with my brother Scott and Chad. My dad left us a legacy, and I tried to keep it going, and I must have did pretty good with the 4 elections of Maui Times, Maui News. So that's 4 and 4. That's 8 times that the people of this island supported me. That I run the ale house for the locals. The tourists. I love them to come on in and break out their wallets, but the locals is where the action is, and I think the locals showed that they like what I do. And I also want to do a shout out for a long time ago, Jason. I picked the Green Bay Packers the year I moved here, and I painted the bar. If you guys all remember, green and gold, and they won the Super Bowl. So I kind of know that feeling and how to judge different things. Okay. So, and get back to your question.
Can you do it the other way? Can you paint the bar the color of the team you want to win?
That's what I did because they hadn't won yet. I gambled on it, and I said, boy, we got.
So you were rooting for the Packers?
Yeah.
And you turned.
I'm a Packer fan from Green Bay, Wisconsin. I'm born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm 55 years old. Trying to get some facts in on me because you wanted to get to know me.
Well, but, this is good. There's a lot of stuff out there, but this is our own unique thing. It's called. Let's get to know these people.
Right.
A few little questions. That's great.
Right.
But look how much we were able to really let an audience know who you are.
I never got to sit in what I call my campaign quarter apartment. It's off of Wailaka. I have a $4.5 million property next door that I manage, and I've become very friendly with a Supreme Court Justice from Nevada that trusts me very much with his stewardship of his land over there. And yes, he will give a reference. When I bring these different things to you of light of how my life is and etc., being semi-retired and now coming out of retirement again to attack these issues and show that I would like to be a candidate. And the original question of what drove me to do this, besides the mayor, was some of the people in my neighborhood here. They said this and that, and you'd be kind of good to possibly be like the police watch for our block here, the Black Watch, and which I'm an avid member. I support our police and everything like that. I just believe that the police should be monitored in their behavior, and that also we should be able to access those records. And if anybody's been promoted that's violated the law as a policeman, we need to let them go. I'm sorry, and that's not to be kept private. When you have a police force in charge of our lives and watching after our safety, and they're as evil as the villain, and we're not allowed to see that. That's access, and that's a deniability to the public. The same thing is Monsanto's doing. Okay, so that's where I come on, bringing the realm of trying to explain different things to you, and I go into detail in my talking to you because I want you to know that I have a plan for stuff, and I'm going to have to lay all this stuff out to the other council members, and some of them are going to come, some of them are going to fall this election. Okay, it's inevitable what's going to happen. Okay, and if not, if you don't vote me in this time with my different planks that I want a possible user tax increase, Maui tax should be increased to an even 5%. We don't pay all of that. It's by the users and different people that are tourists that come in here that pay a majority of that. And what the reason I say it is that we are creating more debt with our bonding out of our issues. Yes, I read the paper. Yes, we make money on our bonds, but we have to wait a long time to do that in an indenture situation. That's my background in finance and marketing with the old Citigroup that was promoted. I was ground floor in that operation. So I understand how to take something from nothing and make it the world's largest bank, Citigroup. With the acquisition of Margareton, with the acquisition of Travelers Insurance, with the acquisition of Primerica. Need I say more? They're the biggest, largest power in the world, and I was part of that. So I know how to take that. I've also been part of the ale house, taking it from breaking it down to cleaning it up to repainting it, to doing the tables, to reorganizing, hiring and firing, and negotiating and reaching across the aisle to my employees on a compromise that said, I want to hear what you guys want to do. What's going wrong here? What's up? And what the changes can be. Okay. And instead of waiting on 1 or 2 weeks, I delegated to our manager, and we delegated and we switched things around. I think after I hit the island, we were switched around within 2 months completely. So I'm not going to fool around with stuff if it involves my personal pocketbook. If you elect me, I believe that's what you guys are laying out. I have a big pocketbook, and I'm to delegate it the most purest, efficient way that is in the best interest of Maui residents. And if I don't, then I'm not a good steward. Okay, and I am a religious man, so I understand proverbs and doctrine. And I believe that everybody should read the proverb of the day. There's 31 of them. So that's not to be Christian and I got to force you to do religious stuff. But just open the Bible up. The only chapters you need to do after you read the whole Bible, because it's all just a repeat deal in the Bible, is read a proverb of the day. And every month that you read it, if I read number 28 this month, 28 next month, every time you read it, there's something in your life that's going on that's going to interpret it to make you look forward. Because King Solomon was a very wise man. To lay that stuff out in a judeo direction of morals and ethics. I'll stand on that.
Okay. Just want to be sure before we would end, if there's any other issues that you'd like to think of, that you'd like the audience to know, that you think is, you just want to be sure to hit that.
I want to touch base with my constituents with the homelessness, the homeless. You can't get mad at some of these gentlemen out there. I have done a consensus.
And women.
And women. Jason, you do your interviewing and stuff like that. I go out there and talk to some of these guys and ask if they need a ride or if they need a loaf of bread or something like that. The biggest thing they always want is they want peanut butter and some bread because they live pretty darn good off it, okay? And I want you to understand that some of them are, because of being past veterans, emotionally scarred by PTSD of what happened and what drove them to this. Of course, personal tragedy in their lives from loss of wife, children, whatever, and here they are. They don't hurt us that bad. The majority of the homelessness, if you look at the police reports, it's less than 1% of them ever get picked up for doing anything wrong. Now, trespassing doesn't count because they have to dig in and sleep it. But have you ever seen their little place that they set up as a little abode? It's very clean, a little roll to sleep on, stuff like that. But they're emotionally scarred, and a lot of them don't go out and talk to a lot of people. So if you come up to them and approach them, you got to be careful. But you also have to understand that once you get to know them, they're just beautiful people that are just they all have needs, and we can address that with Kihei from what I like going on with the children's center, youth center that we're building, and with the master plan of Kihei in the south side here in my constituency, also with the Paia area and Kalui, and of course beautiful Lahaina area. I look at what we can do for these people and combine these things. I think we should have a domestic women's site. I think we should have an adolescent site. I think that we should have a place for people to drop off in an emergency of what goes on for preschool or before school if you have to be to work, where you know 24 that you know to within a 12-hour period. You could drop someone. We're going to have the building open. And we'll take your children and safeguard them when you get to work because your babysitter didn't show up that day, or you couldn't get to the preschool or whatever. We have to set some contingencies. We don't want any roadblocks for growth in labor and jobs to keep you in a job and keep you with your benefits. Now we have to try to get you so you make a little bit of money so you're not living paycheck to paycheck. Okay, we have to bring safety to homeless. We have to bring safety from their psychiatric problems and the possibility of the people that are dropping off that because they haven't done things right. I say that of the people that are in the county jails coming out of them, we've got to protect them. And you go, what? Protect them? More money? No, they're like little lambs out there getting released, and anything they get caught up with, it looks as a violation. We got to protect these people because they're in our community, and if we don't surround them like an amoeba or with our hands and arms, and covet them and teach them to get itself dependent, no one is going to do that. And I want to have things set up in a very simple basis with our budget in each 3-4 municipalities around the county that they do have a safe haven. Let's call it a safe haven. That's not going to be their house, because that gives a advantage that we're putting them up and we're going to pay for all their expenses like that. But I think there's got to be a common ground that we have someplace that they can come and start over and have some safety and have also, I think, what is the word for it, where we have a regiment? Some people need a regiment, okay? And that's what I'm saying. And I'm not talking about any form of promoting drugs and all that junk in these places, okay? But I mean, there's got to be a safe haven here, okay? I don't know if you ever landed anywhere and lost your passport and you moved out of your hotel room, you're heading to the airport, now you can't get on a plane, so you got about 12 hours where you can get the U.S. Embassy and get a new replacement. And believe it or not, you're actually like a homeless bum in the Bahamas or when you're in Honduras, okay? And you go, what do I do? Well, a safe haven of having the American flag over on the side there, where you can pull into the U.S. Embassy and go, oh boy, okay, I'm safe for this minute. We need something like that in Maui that, oh, I'm safe like that. Now, we have to build on self-dependence, and that's what I'm really for. But that was just one issue I'm talking about. And I didn't mean to talk away everybody's heart on that stuff, but I wanted to explain there is a way to do things in a governed manner as a Common Council member and as your representative, either Island Wine or the beautiful South Shore, South Side, New Riviera of Maui.
Well, homelessness. I was just online with the Adult Protective Services. I've seen so many people. Some go homeless by choice, alcohol and drugs. Some go homeless because they lost a home and they're suddenly without job, and it gets worse, and they're homeless.
They start off with their car, living in a car, and then that goes.